Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome. Greetings to you on this morning, on this Wednesday morning. Today is Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. And on behalf of Purpose Journey Counseling LLC Reloaded, as we are continuing to celebrate Black History Month, I want to say greetings to you. And again, good morning to you. My name is Dr. Natatu North, and I am the owner and therapist of Purpose Journey Counseling LLC, located in Cincinnati, Ohio. So again, it is February 15th. It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday morning. It is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And the YouTube link for this broadcast is posted on Instagram. So we ask that you please take a few moments now, whether you're watching us live at 7 a.m. or you catch us later in the day, later in the week, later in the month, later in the year. Doesn't matter. We ask that you still take a few moments to do these few things, and we do appreciate as you take the time to do them. But please like this broadcast. Please like our profiles and our pages on the different social media platforms. We ask that you please follow us on your preferred platform, but that you please subscribe to our YouTube channel, whether you watch us on YouTube or not. Purpose Journey Counseling. If you please subscribe to our YouTube channel, we would greatly appreciate that. And please also share this broadcast as well as any other videos that you may watch and see and say, wow, that's, pretty awesome. Or I know someone who would probably benefit from that. You can always tag them in the comments section and you can share it to your pages as well. And let's also interact and engage in the comment section. So again, good morning to you. I want to share a couple of numbers as we always share them, just to make sure we have this information stored in our phones for us or for someone else. First one is a number for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. That number is 24/7. Please lock that in to make sure that you have it. And then there's also the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. That number is 988. This number is also 24/7, and you can text this number as well. So please store those numbers in your phones and make sure you have them just available. You just never know when anyone may need it. They may need this information. So please, let's just be equipped with the resources so that we can encourage and support each other. So thank you so much for doing all of those things. It is Wednesday, as I've stated. So on Wednesday, we have our Wednesday Wisdom. And as we have been celebrating Black History Month and kind of putting Black History Month together, as well as quotes, because like I always say, I love quotes, but then also incorporating some support. And as we're, looking at mental health and things like that, I found a quote by one of my favorite people who has gone on home to be with the Lord, but one of my favorite people, one of the most inspirational African-American women. Never got to meet her, but she was one of my favorites and will remain one of my favorites. But I want to share this quote with you. Healing, as I see it, is not the absence of pain. Rather, it is a gradual reduction in the ache. The lessening of that hurt eventually makes room for fond memories to surface. And that quote was by the late, great Cicely Tyson from a memoir entitled Just As I Am. Just read it one more time. Healing, as I see it, is not the absence of pain. Rather, it is a gradual reduction in the ache. The lessening of that hurt eventually makes room for fond memories to surface. Cicely Tyson from the memoir, Just As I Am. Well. If we think about any type of healing, physical, mental, emotional, even spiritual, it is a gradual process. If you were to break a bone or pull something, oftentimes, you would have to see some type of medical professional. A lot of times they're taking x-rays or MRIs, CAT scans, or looking at all these different things. Sometimes there's even surgery involved. And then there's like physical therapy, and there's stretching, and there's pulling, and there's all of these different shifting around, trying to get things back to some sense of normalcy. And even while we're looking at or thinking about the concept of resuming some level of normalcy, after something's been broken, a lot of times the normalcy is not the normalcy that existed before that which that had been broken, when it was not broken, when it was fully functional, when there were no tears, or when there was no hurt, or there was no pain. Oftentimes that level of normal is no longer the same as the normalcy that can be or should be expected after the break. Wow, that just said a mouthful. And that's again a physical break that requires any type of healing. If you think about relationships, when we think about grief, it's the same concept. Same concept. When you lose someone you love, whether it's because of a lost relationship or someone actually passes away, the normalcy of life is not the same. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same. Things actually just don't go back to being just the way they used to be, because now we are forced to adjust. We are forced to have to get used to things being different. And part of the process of healing, when you think about it, the first thing I want to say is that healing is painful, because through the process you have to feel. You have to feel. If you think about, like I said, if you broke something or you're dealing with medical professionals, you're going through physical therapy. Physical therapy isn't fun per se, when you're having them pull and having you do exercises and different things that cause you to have to use a muscle that, or to move a part of your body that it's been injured. It doesn't feel the same. Or even if you go through any type of mental health therapy is the same concept as you're dealing with your mind, or even you're regulating your emotions. When you're dealing with that, you're forced to actually think about things or talk about things that can be painful, think about things or talk about things that are not exactly fun things to talk about. You have to kind of remember different things, or change your way of thinking, or actually face it. You have to face it. And that's painful. Even spiritual healing, if you think about just even sitting in a worship service. You ever been sitting in worship and you're listening to the preacher preach, and they start talking about all these things that you got to do to get your life right, and you're like, oh my God, ouch, 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 wow. It causes you to reflect. So you have to think, you have to feel, you have to remember, and that can be different. And that can be tough, because when you think about things that are broken, there could be missing pieces, or sometimes the pieces are all over the place, or sometimes, over here in your mind, you're here, but physically you're here, emotionally you're there, spiritually you're like, there's a disconnect here, God. I've been just struggling so much, or this pain, this hurts so much that I don't even know if healing is possible, or I don't even know how this is supposed to work out, because this just seems like a very arduous task, like it's going to be too difficult for me to be able to do. And when you think about, I'm just thinking about glass shattering, or something falling and the pieces are all over the place, or even if you feel like the pieces of your life are all over the place, when something is broken, it has to be put back together. If it's broken, you got to put it back together. I think of my kids' toys being all over the place. And, especially my youngest, my 6-year-old, comes in, oh, Mom. Usually she asks her dad, because her dad can fix anything. But Daddy, can you put this back together? All the piece came out, or I don't know how to put this back in. It's not fitting right. And sometimes, she needs help to be able to do it, because maybe she doesn't know quite how it goes back in, or maybe she hasn't acquired enough strength to be able to do it on her own. So she asks her father, whom she trusts and knows that he can help her put these things back together again. And that's how life is. Sometimes we feel broken. Sometimes we just are flat out broken. Sometimes we can even see the pieces of our lives all around us, or it's like a cookie, and the crumbs are just all over the place, and we don't know how we're going to get this thing back together. It just doesn't work right. But as the late great Cicely Tyson said, it's not that it's not going to hurt. It's just healing is a gradual reduction in the ache, meaning you're not going to feel it as much. It lessens it lessens the hurt as you're healing. That's the difference between healing and just letting it be it is what it is. We just got to deal with it. That's not healing. That could be some level of acceptance, but it's not allowing us to really be whole again, because some stuff does break us, and it doesn't make you weak because something has broken you. It doesn't make you weak because something has pained you. It doesn't make you weak because you might need some help to put some pieces back together again. Actually, it shows your strength and your commitment to yourself and your commitment to your process of healing when you say, you know what, I need to heal from this. It's not about dwelling on it. It's not about waking up every day, or everyone that you encounter has to meet your pain and, well, I'm broken, I'm broken, I'm broken, so don't come around me, I'm broken. No, we're all broken in some way or another. We all got some pieces laying around somewhere. We may have every piece together, but one little piece over here, but that's the piece that makes us cuss people out every Tuesday morning because we haven't dealt with that piece yet. So it's definitely a tough process, because managing the pieces is tough, as you are forced to pay attention to every single detail. You got to pay attention to all the details. You got to recall events. You got to go to your therapies, physical therapy, mental health therapy, whatever it is. You have to pay attention to the details. That's painful. That's not something that's easy. It's not something that we necessarily want to do. It's not necessarily something that we look forward to doing. However, it's still necessary. It's still necessary. And the last part of this quote talks about how the lessening of that hurt eventually makes room for fond memories to surface. And I think about this when you just think about, it could be someone that you've lost, someone that was very, very pivotal in your life, or someone that you were thankful to have known. It's hard to lose someone when you love someone, it's hard to, be able to say like, oh my goodness, like I can actually live my life now with this person being gone. It's hard, but I will say this, because you can have those memories, sometimes even remembering what you've lost shows how blessed you had been to acquire it. Wow. To say, well, I may have lost that job. I may have got laid off, but I was blessed to have had that job because the skills that I acquired on that job were going to help me in this next season. Or I may be hurting right now due to the loss of a loved one or someone that I've truly cared about, but I was blessed to have been able to have that person as a part of my life for whatever part of my life they were a part of my life. For however many years that we had, I'm thankful to God that I had those years. So it allows you to have those fond memories. And sometimes, some of the healing we deal with are not the memories are not fond at all, but some of them are. Because even it's like I said, especially with loss and things like that, it's hard to deal with it. But once we deal with it and once we heal from it, a lot of times we can find some fond memories, or we can realize how blessed we were in that season to have been able to have whomever or whatever that thing was. So I could go on about healing, because healing is a process and it takes time to kind of even describe what that feels like. But I'm just going to read this quote again and we're going to wrap up. Healing, as I see it, is not the absence of pain. Rather, it is a gradual reduction in the ache. The lessening of that hurt eventually makes room for fond memories to surface. Thank you so much to the late, great Cicely Tyson for this quote. It's definitely something that I would, honestly suggest that you kind of just reflect on today, as you might be in your process of any type of healing, or you might be thinking about it. You might be thinking about going through some process of healing, understanding that it's painful because you have to feel, you got to put these pieces back together again. We got to pay attention to details. But a lot of times when we're remembering what we've lost, we realize how blessed we may have been, or that we were, to have acquired or been able to spend time in that space of that person, or in that space of that situation, that thing, that job, whatever it is, that relationship. We could be grateful for those things. So again, we thank you for joining us. We thank you for walking through this Wednesday wisdom, because that's definitely wisdom from a very, very wise woman. Like I said, absolutely one of my favorite people. Just want to share these flyers again real quick. Just remember, our schedule's still the same. We have our Monday messages on Mondays. We have Wednesday wisdom on Wednesdays weekly at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have our podcast, hashtag from a Christian, hashtag from a therapist, with Dr. Natatu, monthly on the first Sundays of each month, live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that means that our next episode will be on Sunday, March 5th. 2023 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's just a couple of weeks away. It's about 2.5 weeks. So let's just get ready. Let's get ready. Stay ready. When you are ready, you don't have to say you don't have to get ready. If you are ready, you stay ready or something like that. So let's just be ready. Let's be ready for that. So our tag for Purpose Journey Counseling, as always, is to be loving, be kind, be compassionate, and be intentional towards others as well as towards yourselves. So again, can't thank you enough. We thank you again for joining us this morning. Lord willing, we will see you Monday for Monday Message Live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a wonderful, blessed Wednesday, and blessings and love to each and every one of you.